So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct? So
The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally.
after fact-check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV.
As we said on the Midas Touch account, Musk is getting what he paid for. The voters are getting absolutely screwed.
Trump's latest executive order has left everyone scratching their heads. Spoiler alert, it's not about healthcare or the economy. It's about straws. From paper versus plastic to snubbing potential successors, we're breaking down the wildest moments from Trump's recent press conference. Buckle up, folks. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free, simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange-tinted commander-in-chief has found a new enemy to battle, the sinister, life-threatening menace of paper straws. That's right. While most presidents worry about trivial matters like the economy or healthcare, Trump's losing sleep over bendy drinking implements. I guess when you're a stable genius, you've got to tackle the big issues first, right? In a move that's sure to go down in history as one of the most pressing concerns of our time, Trump signed an executive order to bring back plastic straws. Because nothing says "Make America Great Again" like choking sea turtles with our drink accessories, am I right? Trump's reasoning, apparently paper straws explode.
While standing next to Donald Trump saying, this is what you voted for, this is what you got. This absolutely isn't what the American people voted for.
The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million. And a lot of times that, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've never had a paper straw detonate in my face. Maybe he's sucking too hard, or perhaps he's confusing straws with those party poppers. It's an easy mistake to make when you're busy running a country. But wait, it gets better. When environmental experts tried to explain that plastic straws contribute significantly to ocean pollution and harm marine life, Trump had the perfect response. He claimed that sharks won't mind eating plastic. Yes, you heard that right. Forget marine biology textbooks, folks. Trump's got it all figured out. Sharks? They're basically living garbage disposals with fins, according to our president. This brilliant insight into marine ecosystems didn't go unnoticed. Jimmy Kimmel, ever the voice of reason, couldn't help but point out the obvious. That degree in marine biology is really coming in handy, Kimmel quipped. I mean, who needs years of scientific research when you've got Trump's gut feeling about shark dietary preferences? But let's not be too hard on old Donnie. It turns out he's got a long-standing beef with sharks. That's right, Trump's shark hatred goes way back. It's like a supervillain origin story, but instead of Batman, his nemesis is Jaws. One has to wonder what a shark ever did to Trump. Maybe one stole his golf ball at Mar-a-Lago. Or perhaps he's still bitter about losing the shark demographic in the last election. Now you might be wondering, why is Trump so obsessed with plastic? Well, dear viewers, Jimmy Kimmel has a theory. In a stroke of comedic genius, Kimmel suggested that Trump loves plastic because most of his wives are made of plastic. Ouch, that's gonna leave a mark, or at least it would if there was any real skin left under all that Botox. But let's be real for a second. While we're all having a good laugh at Trump's expense, and let's face it, he makes it so easy, there's a darker undercurrent to this whole plastic straw saga. It's a classic case of missing the forest for the trees, or in this case, missing the ocean for the straws. Trump's fixation on such a trivial issue while ignoring the larger environmental concerns is troubling, to say the least. It's like trying to fix a sinking ship by rearranging the deck chairs. Sure, the deck might look nicer, but you're still going down, and in this case, we're all on that ship whether we like it or not. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite billionaire boy wonder, Elon Musk, decided to bring a +1 to his Oval Office playdate with Grumpy Trumpy. And no, it wasn't another electric car or a miniature rocket. It was his 4-year-old son, R2, because nothing says serious business meeting like a preschooler picking his nose, right? Picture this, the leader of the free world sitting behind his big important desk trying to have a grown-up conversation about artificial intelligence. And there's Elon, looking like a Q-tip that's been left out in the sun too long, with his mini-me digging for gold in his nostrils. It's like a scene from a bizarre sitcom, only it's real life, and we're all stuck watching it. Jimmy Kimmel, never one to miss a chance to roast the orange turd, had a field day with this one. He quipped, "I hope you find some government waste in there." Don't get it on the Diet Coke button. Now, that's what I call nostalgic humor. But seriously, folks, if that kid did find any government waste up there, it'd probably be the most productive thing to come out of the Trump administration. But let's not forget the visual masterpiece that was Trump and Musk standing side by side. Kimmel hit the nail on the head when he said, "It's like a Q-tip next to a traffic cone." I mean, talk about a study in contrasts. On one side, you've got Trump, looking like he just crawled out of a Cheeto factory. On the other, there's Musk, so pale he could probably glow in the dark. It's like watching a carrot trying to have a serious conversation with a vampire. Now, you might be wondering, what was Musk doing there anyway? Well, apparently they were discussing artificial intelligence, which, let's be honest, is a bit like trying to explain quantum physics to a goldfish. I can just imagine Trump nodding along, pretending to understand, while secretly wondering if AI could help him build that wall he's always yammering on about. But here's the kicker. Musk brought his kid to this meeting without telling his ex-wife. Talk about a custody agreement violation. I guess when you're a billionaire, you think you can just waltz into the White House with a toddler in tow. It's like he's trying to one-up Trump in the who can be more inappropriate contest. And poor Trump, bless his little orange heart, he tried to put on his best grandpa face. But let's face it, the man has about as much warmth as a frozen TV dinner. There he was, attempting to look interested in this kid's antics while probably daydreaming about his next tweet storm or cheeseburger. Meanwhile, little R2 was living his best life, exploring the Oval Office like it was his personal playground. I bet he was disappointed when he couldn't find that mythical Diet Coke button. Sorry kid, but Donnie Diapers probably had it removed to make room for his witch hunt panic button. The whole scene was so ridiculous, it's almost hard to believe it actually happened. But then again, this is the Trump administration we're talking about. Where else would you see a tech billionaire, his nose-picking kid, and a president who looks like he fell into a vat of self-tanner all in the same room? Alright folks, just when you thought Trump's presidency couldn't get any weirder, he's cooked up a plan that'll make you say, "Oh Canada." Our orange-tinted commander-in-chief has decided that 50 states just aren't enough. Nope. He's got his sights set on the Great White North. That's right, Trump wants to make Canada the 51st state, because why stop at making America great again when you can make it Canadian? Trump, in his infinite wisdom, expressed his fondness for our northern neighbors, saying, "I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada, you can't count them." Well, that's convenient, Donnie, because we can't count them either. He then proceeded to list his extensive roster of Canadian pals. "I love Wayne Gretzky. I love their tradition. I love their ice hockey." Wow, Trump, you really dug deep into the Canadian phone book for that one, didn't you? Jimmy Kimmel, never one to miss a chance to roast the Donald, couldn't help but ask, any other Canadian stereotypes you want to mention? Come on, Trump, don't let us down. Tell us how much you love maple syrup, mousse, and saying sorry after every sentence. Maybe throw in a few A's for good measure. But let's not forget about Quebec. You know, that French-speaking province that's been trying to separate from Canada for years? Trump probably thinks it's a new flavor of barbecue sauce. Quebec? I love their ribs. The best ribs, folks. Nobody does ribs like Quebec. Now, you might be wondering why Trump is so keen on annexing Canada. Is it for their universal health care? Their sensible gun laws? Their dreamy prime minister with great hair? Nope. It turns out, our grumpy Trumpy just has a thing for renaming stuff. Because why solve real problems when you can just slap a new label on them? Case in point, Trump's brilliant idea to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Because nothing says, "Make America great again," like stealing someone else's Gulf, right? I can just imagine the conversation in the Oval Office. Trump, hey, you know what would really stick it to Mexico? If we renamed their Gulf. Advisor, sir, that's not how geography works. Trump, Fake news. I'm the president. I can rename whatever I want. But why stop there? Why not rename Canada while we're at it? How about North Dakota? Or America's hat? Or maybe Trump's icebox? The possibilities are endless when you're dealing with a president who thinks renaming things is the height of foreign policy. And let's not forget the real victims in all of this. Canadian geese. Those poor birds are going to need some serious therapy when they realize they're suddenly American. Can you imagine the identity crisis? They'll be honking the Star-Spangled Banner instead of "Oh Canada" before you know it. Well folks, it looks like Trump's golden boy just got tarnished faster than a cheap watch in a swimming pool. Remember JD Vance, the guy who thought he was Trump's mini-me? Well, let's just say he's gone from hillbilly elegy to political eulogy faster than you can say bag wet. Our orange-tinted commander-in-chief was asked if he sees JD Vance as his successor during a Fox News interview. Trump's response? No, but he's very capable. Ouch. That's colder than Melania's side of the bed, as Jimmy Kimmel put it. Poor JD must have felt that burn all the way in Paris, where he was attending some fancy AI summit. Talk about awkward timing. Vance was probably sipping on espresso and trying to look important, while Trump was back home, basically telling the world, JD who? But wait, it gets better. Kimmel's show had a field day with this, bringing in Haley Joel Osment to play Vance in a hilarious sketch. Picture this. Vance in Paris, completely lost in the sauce of French culture. He's out there thinking bidets are fancy water fountains and calling baguettes bagwets. It's like watching a puppy try to understand quantum physics. Adorable, but oh so painful. In Kimmel's version of events, Vance's reaction to Trump's comments was pure gold. Imagine a grown man holding back tears, whimpering, "It's fine. I'm sure he's right. He's always right." It's like watching a middle schooler get rejected for the school dance. Except this middle schooler wrote a whole book about how cool Trump is, only to get left hanging at the political prom. But here's the kicker. While Vance is over in Paris, probably crying into his beret and mistaking French bread for sex toys, Trump's got bigger fish to fry. Word on the street is that our reality TV president is thinking about running for a third term. Or maybe even a fourth, because why stop at breaking tradition when you can steamroll right over the Constitution, right? So while JD's fumbling around Paris, confiscating baguettes because he thinks they're dildos, seriously, buddy, it's just bread. Trump's back home planning his forever presidency. It's like Vance showed up to a chess match, and Trump's playing 4D checkers with the space-time continuum. But let's not be too hard on JD. After all, French culture can be confusing. I mean, who among us hasn't gotten excited about visiting a Chase lounge in Paris? Psst, JD, it's chaise longue. You know, like a fancy couch, not a bank. Well, folks, it looks like we've reached peak absurdity in the Trump White House. Our fearless leader is waging war on paper straws while cozying up to Canada. Who knew saving the world was as simple as bringing back plastic sippy tubes? Jimmy Kimmel hit the nail on the head when he quipped, "It's like the Jerry Lewis telethon with this guy." Except instead of raising money for a good cause, Trump's raising eyebrows with his wacky priorities. But let's not get too caught up in the straw man arguments. While Trump's busy renaming bodies of water and fantasizing about Canadian ribs, real issues are piling up faster than discarded paper straws. Maybe it's time we focus less on what we're drinking through and more on what we're swallowing from our politicians. After all, paper-thin policies are a lot harder to digest than a soggy straw. So what's the takeaway from this circus? Well, as Trump continues his crusade against bendy paper, the rest of us are left wondering if he's making America great again, on everyone's nerves. But hey, at least we can still laugh about it, right? Pass the plastic straw, please. I need something to bite on while I watch this show unfold.